strangest things that have shown up on beaches. Now, we all know beaches are supposed to be a place to have fun, escape from stress, and get some good vibes. It's a place to have fun with friends and family, ride waves, and make sandcastles. But sometimes the waves might just have a different plan for the ocean. Sometimes the ration of the waves tend to push some things from the ocean to the bank. Now, what are some of these things, you ask? Well, first of all, drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's dive into the real deal. Here are some of the strangest things that have been washed up on beaches. Megalodon Shark. It's not a new thing to see some sharks wash up on beaches, dead or alive. In fact, it's not uncommon to see about 100 reports every year. But what's unique in this case is that the shark that washed up on the Australian beach in question looked nothing like other sharks in the area. The reason why this shark is on our list is that this shark that was found on the beach resembled an extinct shark, which is the Megalodon Shark. I can't elaborate more on the Megalodon Shark, but it is an extinct species of shark that lived approximately 2.6 to 16 million years ago, during the early Miocene to the Pliocene era. They're referred to as Megalodon due to their big tooth. You can check more about them after the video, but since they are believed to be extinct, the question bothering everyone now is it possible that this shark species is not really extinct? And if so, where exactly in the ocean do they reside? Big questions, right? Well, you got me on that too. Giant tree. Now imagine taking your normal casual walk or run along the beach, but getting interrupted by a giant tree. Wouldn't you say that was annoying? Well, tell that to the people in the community of La Push in Washington. The township is no stranger to large towering trees, but after high tides and strong winds, residents of La Push were amazed to find the largest tree they had ever seen lying on the sands. A retired school teacher by the name of Philip Lackman photographed the giant drift log in 2010 with his 6-foot-tall daughter standing beside him. She looked tiny standing in front of it, with the tree's trunk at least 3/4 of her height above her. While Philip didn't take measurements, trees that grow in the area are often up to 200 feet tall and up to 10 feet in diameter. The most common trees in the area of which this drift log might be identical to is the western red cedar Sitka spruce. And given the size and scale of the tree, it sure makes you wonder about the amount of strong wind and tidal power it took to bring it to the shore. Huge Lego men. Few children in the world would have had a childhood without some Lego characters. You know, creating new worlds out of plastic pieces. Legos were a common thing. Nevertheless, if you're gonna find a Lego, it's generally in boxes under kids' beds or stored away in attics or basements, and in kids' closets. It's not expected to be supersized and found by the beachside, and that's what makes this so mysterious. 8-foot-tall Lego men have been washing up on beaches all over the world, and people are both confused and a bit spooked. The giant Lego man, which has Ego Leonard painted on its back, has been an occurring figure in the news since 2007. It washed up on a beach in Brighton and then again in the Netherlands with the number 8 on its back. That number made people believe that Ego Leonard, the Lego man, could be one of many, and boy were they right. It was also spotted on a beach in Japan, and more recently in Siesta Key, Florida. I just wonder how many Lego men could there be out there? Well, keep counting. Baby grand piano. Someone walking along the Manhattan side of the East River came across a baby grand piano underneath the Brooklyn Bridge, out of all places, to find a piano. This is possibly one of the more absurd ones. Shockingly, some people were quick to call it a viral marketing campaign. And I know what you're thinking. For what purpose? Well, others think it could be art or quick disposal to save money on landfill fees. Whatever the reason, it quickly went viral. It appeared all over social media, and people visited in dozens to photograph it and even try to play it. I'd say both odd and strange. Mystery tubes. In August 2017, mysterious giant tubes started washing up on coastlines and beaches in Europe in Norfolk, United Kingdom. Pieces of plastic piping the size of a skyscraper washed ashore, stretching over 1,500 feet in length and 8 feet in width. Locals were scratching their heads at how the massive pipes became beached. It was soon discovered that the pipes were made in Norway and were being shipped to Algeria in Africa when they broke free of the tow and went spilling across the ocean. Beachgoers in the small towns of Horsey and Sea Palling took photos with the giant tubes, and some even tried to get inside them. I mean, it isn't every day you find a giant pipe washed up on the beach. But local authorities warned people to stay away from them in case they were carrying any harmful pollution. Sea pickles. During the summer of 2017 in Oregon, millions of sea pickles washed ashore. Sea pickles are officially called pierosims and are gelatinous creatures that kind of look like see-through slugs or transparent pickles. Usually, sea pickles are found in tropical waters, but somehow their populations increased in the much cooler waters of the Pacific Northwest. The creatures began causing issues with local fishermen, and countless ended up on shorelines, sparking apocalypse rumors as people spoke about the invasion. I wonder when that's gonna happen. Giant eyeball. Now just imagine playing happily at the beach, then seeing a singular giant eyeball washed up before you. Adventurous, right? Well, let me tell you more about it. Sometime back, a guy was taking a walk along a beach in Tampa Bay, Florida, when he came across a singular softball-sized eyeball. Just think about that for a second. That's bigger than the size of your hand. The bright blue eyes stared up at the man, who reported it to the local wildlife authority. Once the word got out, news publications were linking the discovery to the stories like the Montauk Monster, which is an unidentified creature found washed ashore in New York. At first, people were mystified as to how and why they came to be on the beach and from what type of animal it came from. Later, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission confirmed it was from a swordfish, and the question of how and why still remains unanswered. San Francisco Tombstones. It's not unusual to find objects that have been washed up on beaches, but residents of San Francisco were in for a shock or surprise in 2012 when some items started appearing. Local residents started finding tombstones of people who had died during the 1880s in the sand. First, there was one from 1876, then one from 1890, and they kept on showing up. The explanation for all of this had to do with construction works that had been done to help protect the beaches. The area had formerly been used as a graveyard, but the bodies had long been moved inland. The stones, on the other hand, proved too costly to be moved and were instead repurposed. They were used as water breakers, gutter liners, and to construct a sea wall. It appears as if it is some of these stones that had broken loose and washed up on the beach. The St. Augustine Monster. This is possibly the most famous mystery to have been washed up from the ocean. The St. Augustine Monster that appeared on Anastasia Island near St. Augustine in Florida in 1896. It was found by two boys who thought it was a whale and reported it to the local Institute of Science. The scientists weren't so sure it was a whale, though, as it appeared to them to have several arms or tentacles. Deeming it to actually be the remains of a giant octopus, photos and a specimen were sent to the Smithsonian Museum in 1897. This monster is an example of what is known as a globster, the name given to unidentified biomasses that have undergone huge levels of decay by the time they are washed up and are virtually unidentifiable. Doritos. Large volumes of products are transported all around the world on cargo vessels. Occasionally, some containers fall into the ocean, and all their contents eventually eventually all end up washed ashore. And you know what? That's exactly what happened to a container ship carrying Doritos Chips, which were caught in a storm in 2006. When it fell off the cargo ship, the container split and thousands of bags of chips were strewn across a half-mile stretch and resulted in bag loads of images that you would almost believe were stills from the latest marketing campaign. Despite causing such an environmental mess, there was an added incentive for locals to help with the cleanup. You know, I guess there's always a good in the bad anyway. Well, there you have it. Strange things do exist, and some have happened to be found on the beach. Now they may be creepy, but if you like this video, then keep the channel going by giving a thumbs up and tapping the subscribe button. Also, if you happen to have seen something strange during your trip to the beach, then let us know in the comments below. Who knows, we might make a video about it someday. Bye for now.